Today on the channel, we got an extra big boy with the 1/6 scale Mondo Toys Mumm-Ra, the ever-living from the Thundercats line.
The spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another Mondo Thundercats unboxing and review. And today on the channel, we're back at it with Mumm-Ra, the ever-living. But for all your Mumm-Ra, the ever-living timed edition needs, I guess eBay at this point, but for everything else under the sun, hit up jaystoysandgames.com, use discount code Kyle, save yourself 15% on all in-stock items. Got to get a deal out there, and maybe there'll be a regular edition of this. I'm pretty sure there probably will be, but this is the exclusive timed edition on Mumm-Ra, and this is a big beefy boy, and of course you know we're going to compare it to Lion-O, the king of the Thundercats, later on in this video, and we're going to do this review like we do all the other reviews on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging, we're going to talk about it, we're going to unbox it, we're going to talk about it, we're going to see where it goes from there. And I got Thundercats on the brain here. I got Mumm-Ra. Of course, I got Lion-O, but unfortunately, I think that's where it's going to have to stop for me in Mondo and the Thundercats line. There's only so much room. There's only so many finances, and it's kind of a nice yin and yang with Lion-O and Mumm-Ra together. And I think that's where I'm going to call it quits. But man, I'd love to get the rest of the stuff. Just something's got to give in these financial times we're in here. But man, oh man, how big is this guy? Mumm-Ra looking cool. Classic Mumm-Ra artwork on the front. Got the Mondo seal of approval down there on the bottom. Looking very good, and this is a heavy, heavy box on this one, but it does look really nice. Little glare job there, but little Thundercats, Mondo, 1/6 scale. Kind of the same thing over here on this side. On the top, Thundercats, little glare action, jibber jabber down low, but then the back, we do get a little blurb action here. Very dark packaging, and makes sense for Mumm-Ra. He's a dark individual, as we know. Mumm-Ra, the ever-living. From the depths of the Black Pyramid, the demon priest of Third Earth calls upon the ancient spirits of evil, transforming into Mumm-Ra, the ever-living. The almighty arch-nemesis of Lion-O, Mumm-Ra commands the mutants of Plundar on his quest to capture the Sword of Omens and destroy the Thundercats once and for all. How about that? Includes one figure and accessories, but looking very cool in the packaging. The power of magnets compel us, and we got the window box all covered up though. You can't see a whole lot on Mumm-Ra there, and then you get another glamour shot on the inside, as we know. Usual Mondo packaging here at this point. I'm gonna pull him out. I'm gonna whip out my Mumm-Ra is what I'm gonna do. Oh, big and heavy and beefy. Oh my goodness. There's a lot going on in the packaging on this one here, but man, that's a heavy, heavy boy. There's old Mumm-Ra, but I'm going to take this offline, get all these shenanigans off of Mumm-Ra, and we'll be back talking all things Mumm-Ra. All right, we got Mumm-Ra out of the package, and it literally took me about a half hour to get everything out of the package, as every single piece you see here was individually wrapped in plastic, and then of course the shells, 2 different shells, everything protected in there, inside the packaging, that was also inside a cardboard shipping box. Very well protected right here, but on the flip side, very expensive figure. It better be protected, because if you get a broken figure, especially at this price, never a good day at the office. And I know I'm going to hear it in the comments. I always do. Mondo has the best customer service. I agree, their customer service is fantastic. However, we shouldn't have to use the customer service, and Mondo probably wouldn't like us to have to use the customer service. So I always have to throw that out there a little bit. But let's dive into all of this. Started off here with the stand for Mumm-Ra. Your typical stand we get, of course, with Mondo. There's some twists and turns, but this is the Thundercat stand. Gotta say, this should probably be a bigger, beefier stand, as this is a very big figure. I don't know if this will cut the mustard, as one may say, but we do get that stand there. But now diving into some of these accessories, there's a lot going on with this. Now we do get the sword effect pieces here. Now you do get the little connector. You slide these in. Obviously they couldn't put this in the packaging. It would be too big, so you got to do it yourself. But it is a connector piece. You plug this in. You plug the opposite side in here, and you got the big, I guess, dual-edged sword, the flame sword, whatever you want to call it, whatever the technical name is. Translucent plastic, looking absolutely beautiful. But once again, big figure holding a huge weapon. That's a lot of real estate. So be ready. Make your plans where you're going to put all this stuff is what I'm going to say. So we did get that connector. And I guess, speaking of connectors, we get another one of those connector pieces for the non-flamed on sword, we'll call it. As you do get the sword right here, you got the two ends looking awesome. Ready to go, ready to take on all comers with that one. So we got some swords, but we're not done with swords. The swords continue. This is the classic LJN toy sword is what I think of with this one here. A dinged, battered, beaten blade here. This is a blade that's killed a lot of things. Maybe a lot of Thundercats along the way. Looking very good here. And then you got the snake head down here, much like what we see in Mumm-Ra's helmet there. But looking very cool, very classic weapon for Mumm-Ra. And then the swords continue. He's got that little dagger. Once again, goes back to the old LJN days. I remember as a little kid, I didn't have a lot of Thundercats as a kid. I had a couple. I had Slythe and Mumm-Ra. That's all I had. I put them in with my He-Man characters. Had to go from there. But I remember buying that Mumm-Ra and being very excited. Bought it in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. The more you know, folks, the more you know. Empire Mall. Anybody know the Empire Mall? Once upon a time. We do got that little dagger there. Now we do get a few pieces here. This is, I guess, wrappings, mummy-like wrappings here. Almost looks like a snake, like a pipe snake or whatever they call those things. But it is movable here. Just extra wrappings if you want to add to Mumm-Ra. We got two of them here, so you can put them around his arms, his head, his hands. However you want to do that, you can make it your own at the end of the day. Now, one thing we always love about Thundercats, Masters of the Universe, Mondo isn't scared to get deep. Deep cut stuff, deep cut heads, deep cut accessories, and we do get this one. I, for the life of me, can't remember the episode here, and I've seen every episode of Thundercats 2 times in the last 15 years, and I don't even remember this piece right here, but a nice little globe here. You can hold this in his hand. Tell him the tales of the Thundercats is what you can do. So we do get that piece there. Moving on, I guess we'll move to the hands. Comes with 2 Fists of Fury out of the package, so we're throwing punches in bunches. We do get 2 gripping hands. Going to need these if you want to use any of these weapons, so we get the gripping hands there. We get the maniacal hands, the splayed out hands, the I'm going to scratch your eyes out hands. Got the long blue fingernails here, the blue skin, a hallmark of 80s properties. Of course, is Mumm-Ra part Smurf? Nobody's proved that wrong at this point. He very well could be. We do get these crazy hands there. And then we get crazy hands, but not as crazy hands. Middle of the road hands. I love a little middle of the road hand, of course, every once in a while. But looking good here. Another set of hands if you need it. So pretty much everything you could need for Mumm-Ra in the hand department. But one more. What's one more? We get one more, a special hand. Now this is the deluxe edition, the timed edition for Mumm-Ra. We get a little extra bells and whistles with this one. So make note of that. We do get some extra heads, extra accessories because it's the timed edition. Standard edition, which I believe there's a standard edition if I'm not mistaken. It won't come with all of this stuff. So make note of that once again. But you do get a little bit of a crystal ball effect piece here. Looking very good. Got a little translucent effects, almost like lightning effects around that. Mumm-Ra is up to no good around the clock, as we know. But now we're going to dive into, I guess we'll do this one here. How about a little Mammut? I'm here for that. Looking very cool. His trusty companion, we'll call it here. I wouldn't necessarily call this a figure. However, it kind of reminds you of Cringer that came with Prince Adam, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, from Mondo. You do get articulation at the head, and the head is removable, and we do get 2 heads for this. But besides that, nothing moves around. Very reminiscent of kind of a bulldog is what I always thought of him as. He's got his spiked collar, spike harness on the back. Got a very creepy tail, a dark blue skin to him. And some red fiery eyes. Then you got a little bit of a jaw there, ready to bite your face off if you're not careful with old Mammut. Like the looks of that. Now, I wish there was movable jaw, some articulation on that. Not the case here, but you do get the head back and forth, so you get a little bit of something. Second head, a little bit more demonic, almost looking like a terror dog from Ghostbusters. Got kind of the smoke effects shooting out the side there, looking very good. You got the ears flapping up in the air. This is a Mammut you don't want a piece of, but you can choose your own adventure, which head you want to use. So many decisions with these Mondo figures. It's hard to decide, how do I want to use it? What do I want to use it? Almost makes you want to get another base body, and then you can use extra heads, extra hands, extra weapons, and you can create a different version of Mumm-Ra, but it is what it is. But now we're getting into the heads. 5 heads on this Mumm-Ra. You got 5 options to choose from. Absolutely wild. I guess we'll start with the one out of the package first. Pretty classic Mumm-Ra head, and I always feel like the head out of the package, be it Mattel, NECA, Super 7, Hasbro, Mondo, a lot of times I end up defaulting to that one because that's the one I usually kind of want to go to, but it is nice to have the variety. It's the spice of life, as some may say. But this one out of the package, got the screaming, yelling head, got those creepy mouth going on, or creepy teeth more like it. Got a very purplish tongue, got those red fiery eyes, the blue skin once again. Looking amazing. That's what I think of with Mumm-Ra right there in the head sculpt department. Probably going to leave with that one, but we got some extra heads here. We got one where he's got his mouth closed, got some fangs hanging over like he's a vampire or something. Fiery red eyes once again, but you get the closed mouth on that one. Then we go to the wide open mouth once again, looking more like a kind of a vampire, a demon of some sorts once again. Not sold on this one here. I think as far as open mouths go, I prefer the one out of the package to this one, but we get another head there if you need it. And then we get another head where he's almost like turned to stone like a gargoyle, like he's aging, like he's falling apart. Closed mouth once again. Now, the head dresses will just snap on the top here. We've seen that kind of stuff before, but we do get the heads loose here. But we're not done. We get an extra head, and I think this is one of the timed edition ones, and this one is not removable out of the harness here. But you do get the whole harness here. Soft goods, I guess we'll call them soft wrapping goods here. You do get the wire in them, like a wired cape almost, but very kind of grungy. They got a grungy feel to them, as I guess they should with Mumm-Ra here. But you do get a very scientific head. Looks like he's got some goggles on. He's riding with, who knows what he's doing, but it looks like he's ready to pilot a plane or something. So you got the snakes on the helmet there as we're used to, the middle piece as well, the red and black attack, and the strings, the wrappings wired in those, of course. And then we do get a regular version of this here. I guess we got two versions with this one, as this headdress is removable, as we can see here. And you got two ones, so you can mix and match. There's so many combinations with this set. It makes your head spin. But how do you like your Mumm-Ra helmet here? You got the huge snakes on this one, smaller snakes on this one. I guess that's pretty much the biggest difference between the two. The wrappings look to be the same. The looks seem to be the same. It just really comes down to you like the smaller snakes or the bigger snakes. And Todd, I know you like a big snake. You prefer a big snake, as I've been told. And I guess you'll go with that head. But besides that, pretty much the same kind of thing going on. Different kind of snakes there. But looking very, very cool on Mumm-Ra. I'm going to put this back on. Why not? We'll just have him look at more Mumm-Ra. But now we're diving into the figure. We've been through all the accessories for about 5 minutes here. Maybe even longer than that. But there's so much going on with this figure. And it deserves the detail. Looking amazing. So when you put that headdress on all day long, that's Mumm-Ra. There's no mistaking this for anybody else. He does got the overlay piece. Obviously, the head pops off. That's one thing I don't like about this being added here. Just a little bit of movements and stuff. It will pop off fairly easy, but it will rest on there as well. And let's be honest, there's not a lot of people playing with these. I can't imagine a kid taking this out in the backyard. If there's a kid that's playing with this in the backyard, that's a real one there. That's a young Richie Rich is what that is. But kudos to him. He's a lucky kid if that's the case. But all of this is removable if you want to. So you can take this off, obviously. Head's going to pop off very easily. The whole overlay takes off. And then behind that, you can take the cape off. Got a little protector piece in here. So we see some styrofoam protector pieces in there. And what do we got going on that chest? That is a little bit strange. Is that supposed to be like that? I don't know what I think about that there, because he's got it on his skin here, but it's very, very faint, almost like it didn't get fully painted. I'm not sure if that's the way it's supposed to be or not. I guess if you got this, sound off in the comments below, but for me, it's going to be covered by this anyways, but I guess it gives kind of that same effect onto his chest if you need it. Once again, you get the wrappings, you get the wire in the wrappings, you got them on the forearm, you got them around the top. We always think of the classic thing where Mumm-Ra's going like that, and we got all those bandages flying and flip-flopping and flying around. So we're used to that a little bit. He does got the Third Earth heavyweight title belt. I don't think anybody could dethrone him. What, Tigra? Tigra has a chance, I think. Definitely Chitara. She can't handle Mumm-Ra. I know that for a fact. I don't think Snarf is anything. There's no way. And Snarfer, don't even start with him. Maybe Panthro, maybe Tigra could try to take this belt off him, but good luck at that. But you got the championship belt looking good. You got Mumm-Ra's skirt. I'm a little surprised there's no wiring in the skirt on this one, but once again, soft good skirt, very nice attention to detail. Got kind of that gold foil at the end, almost reminds you of Christmas decorations. And then you've got a little bit of fringe on the bottom there, looking very nice. Wrappings throughout the back. You do got some arm bracers here right at the elbow. You got the bracers at the forearm down here. Got the spike on there, very classic Mumm-Ra. Hands removable on this one, as you can expect, with all these extra hands. Working our way down, you got the bare legs, and then you got the shin guards down here looking good and not looking like anything from Terry Steinbach's closet. This is almost Benito Santiago style, is almost what this reminds me of, but I'd have to fact check that again. Shout out to Benito Santiago Jr. once upon a time. But looking good here. I love the fur down at the bottom. You know I love the fur. And then you got the bare feet here on Mumm-Ra looking good. Looks like he could use a pedicure or maybe two. Got those bright blue feet down there looking nice. Wrappings around the knees on here as well. Now, I will say, when we unboxed the Lion-O maybe a year ago, what is time once again, I gotta say, as far as Mondo figures went, that Lion-O is one of the smoothest jointed figures we've ever had from Mondo. We've been very up and down with quality. Sometimes hands breaking off, looking at you early She-Ra, to things like having to be super heated up before they move. But that Lion-O was smooth as butter on all the joints out of the packaging. Absolutely loved that a whole lot. Gonna test old Mumm-Ra right here. Feels weird not having Mumm-Ra's head on, so I'm gonna stick that head back on there. And I'm gonna put that on there. Make him look a little bit more Mumm-Ra. But then, of course, I forget the overlay, but it is what it is. But let's see what we got going on here. Now, the arms go all the way around for us if need be. Very tight. A little bit of tightness there. Bicep, a little bit of bicep. Now, we get a lot of articulation with these figures, but it's like the articulation doesn't work the way we want it to. It's very tight, and let's be honest, once again, not a lot of people moving these figures around. These do really cross the line between statue and action figure for the most part, all Mondo figures. Single jointed elbow, smooth as butter, just like Lion-O. A little squeaky, though. It's like a mouse. We got that going on. You got the side to side at the elbow. Hands back and forth, side to side, hands removable as we're used to. We've seen what the head can do there. We do get the dumbbell joint up top, a little bit tight, but pretty free moving if you need it. We do get waist articulation as well, so we get the double whammy there. This is where they're a little less than, as far as the legs, you do get a little bit of out there. Not a whole lot more than that. You can't kick forward with him. Just not enough room between the joint and the musculature in the legs on this one. We do get the double jointed knees. Very squeaky once again, but smooth as butter. You do get a little bit of boot cut in there as well. Ankles, back, forth, side to side, up and down, very smooth as butter as well. So articulation-wise, this moves pretty freely, which I'm here for that. Of course, what, Todd? Oh, okay. Todd said, I'm IP freely. Okay, you do? That's cool. I'm going to put this back on here. And dress him back the way he's supposed to be. How he's supposed to be out of the package, what we're going to do. But the articulation pretty good on this one, but let's be honest, I'm not moving this one around that whole much. I'm going to find one spot, and I'm going to display him in that one position, and that's where he's going to live the rest of his life. Now, I forgot to mention the cape here. Huge wired cape on this one. You got the little rings in here, which should connect to the forearm guards there on the wrist. But look at that big cape here. That is massive. And whoa, as we take a header right there. I will mention here, we got the wire in the cape. Was there any doubt? Now, the wire's only here. It's not on the bottom part, but it is on the sides. But I'm happy to report they do have the wire cape. Imagine displaying him right here with his hands splayed out, more like it. Looking absolutely beautiful on this Mumm-Ra. This is a big, beefy boy. But with that comes a big, beefy price tag. And Mondo figures aren't cheap, man. I want to dive into that new turtle line so bad. Maybe I'll get the non-timed edition Donatello and the rest of the Turtles in the future. I'm on the fence with that, but figures are an expensive game all the way down from the Hasbro Mattels all the way up to the Mondo stuff. You can only go get so much stuff, and there's only so much room for stuff, especially big figures like this. Man, oh man, I'd love to have the rest of the Thundercats, but just hard to swing it in this economy, in this day and age, and how much figures are costing us these days. But gotta say, I'm happy to have Mondo, Lion-O, and Mumm-Ra at the disposal here, and there he is next to Lion-O. I think that's a pretty good height-size comparison. I'm okay with the yin and yang between these two. I feel like that's a good representation of Thundercats in my collection. Those are the prime two you gotta have for the yin and yang. I'm here for that. I got Mom-Mut, I got Snarf. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to party. I'm ready for the Mondo Thundercats line, but I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on this Mumm-Ra and this Lion-O while you're at it. You picking up these? Are you all in on this line? Now, if Thundercats was my only fandom, you know I'd be all in on this line, but I collect a lot of lines as well, so this is going to have to do it, at least for now. Maybe there'll be a deal. Maybe something will change. We'll see what happens, but I got to say, I'm pretty impressed by this Mumm-Ra. He lives up to the hype. There's no doubt about it. A lot of bells and whistles on this one. A lot of options options with this one as well. But what's your thoughts? Are you picking up this Mumm-Ra? Do you need it in your collection? Let me know in the comments down below. You made it this far, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bell. We got videos every single day. And then some. We got even more content for you on Patreon, YouTube channel memberships every single day. Your best way to support the channel. Sir Paul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and TheKylePetersonShow at gmail.com, which is also the name of my podcast, The Kyle Peterson Show, available each and every single Tuesday wherever podcasts are found, with videocast on YouTube. So for Mumm-Ra, Mondo 1/6 scale, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.
Well, are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?